rebuilt this team from the ground up, and they rebuild it again a little bit in summer by replacing Xiaofeng, LDL jungler, for another LDL jungler. In Tianjin, who had seen some playing up in the LPL over on Victus Gaming, he hadn't found his feet there. He has done here on OMG, particularly on the Rengar. That is why the Rengar will be permanently banned in this series. If it's not, something's gone wrong. Also removing that Sejuani. I think Rare Adam have really got to the heart of the issue with OMG. Tianjin wants to be on aggressive champions like the Rengar, the Sejuani, or something even like the Vi. So I think removing those options and putting them on something slower really affects OMG.
Yeah, and the thing about OMG's bans is it's going to allow Xiaohao to get whatever the heck he wants, right? You're like not clearly focusing the jungle. It means, compared to our last series, so many AP jungle picks are open to be able to just kind of do your thing. So I'm interested to see what Tianzhen is going to pick up for OMG, though, because you mentioned the aggressiveness, and that's something that I love. The aggressiveness in LPL players just runs so deep.
That it does. We've got so many players here with so much of their power picks as well. I think Lilia is a huge power pick in this series. Both of these junglers are very proficient at it. Tianjin, this is his one AP jungler that he plays very effectively. And Lilia is the one AP jungler that also brings good engage whilst also bringing about that same kind of damage. Now, you could argue stuff like Diana and Fiddlesticks do the same, but they're so risk of feast or famine. It's much easier to play it towards the Lilia in the same way. Vikla snaps up that Lucian. He's been playing it a lot recently. It is also a takeaway from Angel, who is a huge Lucian player, so that will maybe give Vikla something to play in this mid lane. Vikla has struggled a little bit recently, and Angel has been a real rock for OMG before Tianjin came in as well. Angel has been by far OMG's best player over the course of his tenure on this roster. If he gets himself a good matchup, wouldn't surprise me to see him lock in towards something like that Corki and just take the ADC versus ADC brawl. There he could also work as well, and just trying to see if he can outvalue Vikla.
Yeah, and the good news is it is pretty easy to outvalue a Lucian if this Lucian isn't allowed to go crazy, right? If you keep him around, there's not any early skirmishing because you just get to late game Zeri, and it's like, okay, I'm just a little bit better. You mentioned that Kaisa, really strong for Assume. We'll see it on the other side, going over to Starry, and nice double AP stacking up here on the side of Rare Adam. With the Zyra now, you just need a little bit of tankiness, and you're looking pretty good.
You need some engage. You really need some engage. Ziggs is such a combo-reliant champion. Ziggs is very, very good when you have heavy engage and a load of targets to dunk down on from a million miles away. So if you can catch someone out in the backline with something like a Leona Solar Flare, typically that's the way that this champion works the best. Leona's been banned away. It wouldn't surprise me to see a lot of the other engaged supports banned away. I am surprised that they're banning them themselves. Alright, they probably would want something like a Rel or a Rakan or something like that to help combo up, because they don't have engage right now. They have range, they have decent laning ability with that Lucian in the mid lane as well, and of course Zyra is incredibly potent at clearing quickly and getting active on the map. But they need something to set up with later into the game, and I think OMG with the Lilia, that's already some engage for them. They can look towards some more pick CC if they wanted. They can go towards a Nautilus or a Rakan themselves. They're happy with that.
See what the final ban coming out for Rare Adam is. They'll go after that Gnar on the top side. Just want to cut out any extra engage that OMG could put together on their team, and this OMG ban is going to mean a whole lot because you could really cut that support pool, as you were talking about. The quick-oriented Nautilus will be the one to go away. So it's Rakan or bust. Obviously, if you want to go to Alistar, that's totally valid.
It's another engaged champion. You need something, right? Because the thing with Ziggs, when you play Ziggs, you want a support that has so much CC that they will be that the target that is chosen, or group of targets that is chosen, are CC'd long enough for the Ziggs ult and full combo to land. Now, Alistar can do that. A little less of a long combo compared to someone like the Rel or the Rakan with their full abilities, and of course the Leona as well. But it is something. Also provides some frontline for RA as well. Now we're going to get them OMG picking in blind pick top lane at Renekton. Renekton is definitely a champion which has been blind picked a lot in the LPL. It's not locked in just now, though, at the Rakan instead.
Yeah, and one concern that I have out of RA's team composition is the same concern that I had in the RNG Thunder Talk game, where the Zeri will largely be able to go unchecked. You don't have that point-and-click hard CC. Like, sure, Alistar can kind of get there, but you're going to have to walk a long way to get there or take some really creative angles. And angles that you might not be afforded in this game.
So, Kasanse coming through from OMG, good front line. The Camille counterpick, and also something that works out very well with the Ziggs. So, alright, we've said that they've had some really good flank teleports in the past and coordinating their engages. Xiaoshu has a pick which can work with that. Harry has struggled in individual matchups too. So, OMG, they pick up that Lily up, Tianjin. I think it's going to be a really important part of this game to get those pickoffs onto important targets. If a Swirl Seed lands onto Xiaohao or onto Vikla or onto Assume, maybe this game goes awry right from the start. Neither of these teams have been playing particularly well when they're behind the game. So this will be a series where I think that the first couple of fights are really going to be telling. Whoever has that best early game, I think, walks away with a better footing. Neither of these teams are particularly good at playing from behind the game, so the early game gains even more value to make sure you're not put in that situation in the first place. These teams are now playing for a top 2 spot. If they win, they mean that they play off against TT instead of LGD or NIP.
Real feast or famine potential here for the side of Rare Atom, because if the OMG composition gets behind, at least there's things that you can say, okay, well, we have 280 carries, right? We can make it to late game. If we can get that far, we'll be okay, right? But Rare Atom, if they twist their ankle out the gate, it'll be a long day or a short game, whichever superlative you want to use.
So, second series of the day, we'll be heading on to the Rift here in Shanghai between OMG and Rare Atom. So, these two teams facing off against each other for a chance to play off against TT instead of the Ascension group teams in that Knights Rivals team, and also just keep up some momentum, showcase that they do deserve to be at that top of the Nirvana group and fight for that last place in that playoffs through the Knights Rivals. Let's see how the crowd feel about it.
I love the Alistar cowbell, by the way. Always great.
Yeah, the Alistar has some good skins. I have to say, I don't love the skin in general, but the cowbell is nice. I really like is it Conqueror Alistar or Marauder? They changed the names a lot. I think it's Conqueror. In fact, he might even have both.
There's two, yes. Yeah. He's got both.
Yeah, because, okay, fun thing about Conqueror is that Conqueror was Challenger, and then changed the aesthetics effectively for the MSI skins. That's what they changed. But then before that, because Ari was the first champion to get one of these skins, my favorite name for that skin line, this is a bit of trivia which you might not hear anywhere else, that skin line, which never made it to live, was initially called Dauntless. Dauntless Ari was the working name for that skin, and I prefer that. Oh. So I actually still call it Dauntless Ari from time to time, because it was a fun name for that. So that's a little piece of League trivia here, as we see Tianjin starting off on the Raptors, not seen on Vision, so OMG currently have an unscouted jungle start. RA might think that Tianjin is starting on Raptors or starting on bot side and passing towards top side. Instead, he's likely going to be doing a bit more of a unique path, hitting those walls first and then going down towards bot side. Xiaohao will find out now, though, as the wall spots him.
Yeah, and I like the fact that these junglers are going to be standing around the top side for this, at least this early portion, just to make sure that nothing crazy happens. That ward was really well placed to ensure that Tianjin does not get up there, disrupt Xiaozhu, because you get to disrupt a Camille early, kind of set them behind, it'll be some really bad news. But there's also a world where these junglers just clear to 6, because that's where they're going to make their most impact in the game.
Of course, the big thing about Xiaohao on this Ira or whatever is that you clear super quickly and then you respawn. What you want to do is you want to get your first back towards Fated Ashes on both these junglers, and once you get the Fated Ashes, you just steamroll in terms of farm. So if you manage to disrupt the other jungler, take away both scuttles or take away a camp early, then you can stop them getting towards Fated Ashes, because what you need is a full camp clear, full jungle clear, and then also a scuttle crab on top of that to get that one. Shashi taking great trades against Harry here in that top side, gets himself the level advantage and tanks through that Q3 with his adaptive defenses as well on that Camille. So, alright, doing well with that pick there so far. Harry, he's going to want to bring in some teamfight impact, but if he's losing lane, it's not a great sign. Harry had a pretty poor series versus TT last time he was on the Rift, so Xiaosh, you can also summon some of that power, and that could be a big problem for OMG.
Yeah, Xiaohao making an appearance into the mid lane here. Angel is a little too far up. This could be problematic. Gonna tag him with a couple of plants, flash out, jet set radio over the wall. Nice gank.
Okay, so I'm a bit of a Zyra connoisseur myself, because I reached rank 2 in Arena playing Zyra. So I played
nice.
I've played thousands of games of this champion, and I got used to the more intricacies of the mechanics. So I feel like I should have some grounding to talk about this now. Not many people play the Zyra that much, but well, they do nowadays because she's jungle. Right there, you really should be looking to get a double W stack onto your E to get the 60% slow. Jway gets to jump back into tower.
That's disastrous. Ignite goes down. Luckily, it's only Ziggs at level 3. Not quite enough sustained damage.
And also, you don't even get this flash out of Starry, so you end up using both summoners to get the get just the heal out of PP God. It is going to mean that Starry resets, but it's a little bit of something that's not nearly what you wanted. Xiao Hao now going to go onto the Wolves, potentially contest these.
Yeah, got some. Yeah, got that third iffy plant spawn that did not land on the side of Tianjin, but it's gonna fight over that wolf secured anyway by the Lilia. As PP God has moved up here, this could be really bad for RA. He's going to shove them off for right now. Vikla can't help out his own jungler right now. Forced to flash away, Xiao Hao.
I think he's afraid of the Conqueror and the Q stacking coming in from Tianjin. If you get caught out and you actually run down, then yeah, literally a load of damage. And Xiao Hao doesn't have that low cooldowns very early on. Xiaoshu doing fine in this top lane matchup again. This matchup really starts to take off when you get towards 2 items on the Camille. Then it is really horrific. 2-item Camille is nasty as heck. See that both supports roaming across the map. When you get early resets coming in from Starry, who's brought the teleport, by the way, on that, so it's another global for Starry. Less combat summoners, but more ability to remain in lane. Assume doing the same thing on the Ziggs. It means that both these supports can go roam whenever the heck they want, as soon as you get towards around about level 4 on your AD carries when they get... Particularly Ziggs rank 2 of his Q, really important because his rank 1 cooldown, not that high damage, and also very long cooldown. Once you start getting more ranks into your Q, it's much easier to sit alone in lane as that Ziggs. I typically prefer having Ziggs on strong side because he's so good at killing turret plates, but it's not to be the case in this one. Both the supports instead leaving their AD carries alone and just saying, all right, let's go about the place and start roaming.
Yeah, and you know, the AD carries are pretty chill with that. There have been... longer the days have gone by from having 5 people in the bottom lane this early in the game, so must be a nice sigh of relief that the game is not in that state right now. And you mentioned the Faded Ashes rushes. Li Xiao Hao getting his first, so it is time to steamroll.
Yeah, well, Tianjin didn't get his Faded Ashes in the first recall. That's really surprising to me. Instead gets himself that Ruby Crystal instead. Not the most active early game. We said that both these teams kind of crap from playing behind the game, so the first big fight of the game might determine the whole game, particularly because look, it's too early to call that most of the time, but particularly with both these teams and how OMG have played from behind the game and how RA have played when they've started falling off as well in a lot of their later games if they're behind the game, it does become that much more important. You see that now, objectives being started up on both sides, but no real big fights yet. We're kind of gearing up for that first real haymaker of the game.
Yeah, well, now that Tianjin is level 6, Xiao Hao should get there very soon. These are big, impactful ultimates that, you know, could tilt these fights either way, as Vikla with a level up decides that he wants to go in and find himself a bit of a trade on to Angel, but it just feels like Zeri trades back so well.
This is why, so what we saw out of mid lane matches, because of course we saw the Corki Tristana. I've talked about this a couple of times. There was a flowchart. We started with Corki Tristana, with Tristana being the best, but Corki being able to survive and then be able to take 1v1s at particularly 2 items after that point, but also just be fine. You kind of scale up at the same time. Then we saw Lucian go into Corki, because Lucian very early into the game can dash over the Q and over the rockets, and it can be very, very powerful. And then we saw the Zeri into the Lucian, because she actually can trade back very, very hard, particularly with her right-click passive, which is really good point-and-click damage, and Zeri still has very good wave control. So we've basically seen Zeri like be another kind of answer to see a way to scale up into the game. So you see him throw out an ult, and it's a bit of a swing and a miss there. But I thought we were talking about extended topics on the AD carries. Funnily enough, in the bot lane we have one less than we normally do.
Well, Tianjin was able to infest this top side and take everything away from Xiao Hao, so having a nice camp lead here. And EXP, oh no.
Hey, plans get it, it's all good. So,
nice.
Yeah, this is Zyra for you. You get Faded Ashes, your plants do the rest of the work. It's, look, you can nerf that plant damage a little bit. She is still exactly the same champion who can do stuff like this. And
I wonder, being down a level, is that really going to affect things so greatly when it's finally time for these teams to fight? Xiao Hao is at least going to try and get that camp disadvantage back here with Angel taking it back and Tianjin on his top side and with very low mana, even though he's got blue buff. It's only one camp though.
So in terms of the level disadvantage between the junglers, with AP junglers, more so than other matchups we saw before in jungle matches, I think we might have a fight here. Dwayne might have looked for a flash in. Not continuing the case now. Should be safely collecting this wave. AP junglers don't fight each other much. Lee Sin, Xin Sao, whatever, they can do. And in the past when we saw like Morgana, Ude, we definitely saw them fight each other, and the Nidalee too. Nidalee is one which can definitely do that. But when you have these true kind of like AP damage carries, yeah, the individual matchup doesn't matter that much, so you have to just view their points in the game. What you're looking for is Xiaohao to get towards 2 to 2.5 items. I think particularly in this game, going towards something like a Banshee's Veil or a Seekers can be very important against the likes of Tianzhen or PP God, who are looking to hard engage onto him. Typically, you see that very much into Leona's as well, which Zyra's put into. But once you get to Liandry's Rylai's for Zyra, you are Exodia. This champion is not fair at those 2 items, and particularly if you have Pen Boots as well as Soul AP, you do a ridiculous amount of damage. Wouldn't surprise me to see if OMG stacked up a couple of Merc Treads across the board, but because of the Camille and stuff, I think Pen Boots go up in value because you just do so much damage to Leandry's Rylai's. But on the other side, Tianzhen, he's also looking for about 1.5 items at the same time. It's a slightly earlier spike than the Zyra because it's 1.5 compared to 2 to 2.5. And also it's just very good in this game because he's ahead in gold too. So Tianzhen looking for really that Rylai's and then into the Seekers, and then suddenly you have ridiculous team fight power. So in terms of the actual level and gold discrepancy, it does matter, but not in the 1v1. It matters in just terms of them reaching their power spikes at the right point in the game.
Gotta love when teams and players properly play around their spikes. It always gets so frustrating when it's like, huh, you're so weak right now. Why are you doing what you're doing? So far, OMG at least winning out slightly in the gold battle, up almost a grand, we'll call it 800, as the supports have once again shown up near the mid lane. And made this pseudo 1v1 an actual 2v2
yeah,
right now.
It's not a 1v1 anymore. They basically just found themselves
Never
extra.
was.
They see the Ziggs in the bottom and say, hang on, this is the wrong lane. That's a mage. That's not an AD carry. Wait, my AD carry is here instead. And they go towards that also. Maybe that's the logic. But it's been a slow game.
It's good logic.
I don't know whether I like this being a slow game or not, because neither of these teams want to play... Look, no team wants to play from behind, but neither of these teams are good defensive teams, realistically. Sim getting placed down here is a problem for OMG, actually, thinking about that. We'll talk about that later. But,
he's chunking too,
yeah.
with Luden's companion.
Yeah, but when you have... Once one of these teams has a lead, I think the game is going to explode. I think both these teams are very good at pressing advantages, and the other team are not great from fighting from behind. So I understand an important game when you are struggling teams, because you're in the Nirvana group. Yes, you've done well in this group, but you're still not flawless teams. Not that this group are flawless either. That, yeah, I think it's going to be a problem. 850 gold to see. God, golly. Nasty, but the gold is still within... It's within touching distance on either side. It's 400 gold advantage for RA overall. I understand not wanting to fight early and potentially flip a game in such an important situation.
Yeah, this does mean that 6 grubs go over to the side of OMG, and Harry is going to make good use of those, especially on this turret, as they're setting Vikla up to at least catch this wave. Harry obviously can't stick around with this dragon coming up. Looks like Xiaohao should have the run of it. And you know what? This is the objective trade that they've decided that they are okay with. You got a bunch of gold onto Assume as well. So far, all signs pointing to RA really liking the way they've played this game.
You know what's quite funny to me? We still have 380 carries in this game. This is a low amount of 80 carries in this game. However, I'm so surprised that we're getting average like 580 carries a game with one in top lane or jungle as well, when we don't even have the AD supports anymore. That was a crazy time. Look, we have level 6, so we're probably going to see a fight. This could be a big turning point.
And PP God looking for that initial engage, but he's knocked up, he's taking a bunch of damage, and he is dead. It'll be first blood going over to Assume. Harry is here, but it is a 4v3, and everybody on OMG is split as Tianzhen wants to get back in, but he can't link up with this AD carry because Zhaozhu is here, and he will fall. It's 2 kills for Assume, and Zhaozhu looking for more. Forced the flash at an Angel, trying to stick on top of him, but the rest of OMG come to the aid of the mid laner.
Harry with the hero save. Vikla's still here. Might be able to flash forward. Stops Angel's recall. There's a problem here.
Yeah, Starry wasn't paying attention, but it looks like Alistar will fall to Harry. Vikla gets the burst kill, but PP got an Angel.
Oh,
Can they make the play? The shields are too much. It's Angel getting a kill. Xiaohao has to flash away. It was such a win for Rare Adam, and they overstay.
And Vikla ends up putting the auto attacks into PP God and not into Angel at the end of that. The extra double tap, I don't know whether it killed. He doesn't have any crit chance, but still, putting it to the full health for Calm is not helping your case. Vikla goes down and suddenly 3 for 3. We said that one team, when they get ahead, is probably going to start steamrolling the game. This ends up being quite an even fight. Starts off with bit of a missed engage coming from PP God. The damage just isn't there, and Tianzhen really holding on to his ult for a long time. He doesn't really get a great ult angle. I wonder whether he should just pulled out the ult angle early onto Jue and Xiaohao, but it wasn't to be. Jue still, of course, had his ultimate, so he could pull that whenever he wanted to, and Xiaoshu is monstrous even at this point. Thinks he has himself that kill. Maybe couldn't go on the auto reset, but couldn't quite get that. Very great peel after this point. This is where it gets to be a bit of a problem, because even at this point, you probably still walked away with a winning play. Vikla cancels an auto there, doesn't get himself the full damage. The ult's not great. Gets himself good damage here with his slick auto resets here, but then you watch this. He gets himself that tap to the side, and he attacks PP God and not Angel. Definitely not helping his case. He goes down.
Yeah, I think you would have had him too.
It
was
close.
Yeah, it was so close, and ultimately the gold is so close, and OMG is able to take the Rift Herald. That is huge, especially with their 6 Grub team. Rare Atom losing a big opportunity to take a large amount of control of this game when the fight just initially went their way. The good news is, the game is certainly not over yet.
Absolutely not, because I was kind of afraid that this series would be 1v1 between the mid lane. Is Vikla good accuracy with the ult, but gets away as Angel. No one's roaming to his lane just yet. I was kind of worried that the first fight of the game would just kind of spell disaster for one team, when we'd see a very one-sided team play after that point. It is even still. We do still see even enough gold. Xiaohao going towards this top side has himself that Liandry's, as does Tianjin. Both of them are powerful points in their own game. This jungle lead, though, for Xiaohao, a player that I've praised an awful lot coming in from Rare Adam. Being 20 CS down, like being 5 camps down. This is not what you want out of this jungle matchup. Very, very poor from him. Assume he's going to get hits.
Well, he's forced to flash away, but you cannot escape Starry. Tianjin will come in and take all the credit for the kill.
As is only right. Gets himself 1,000 gold up in that too. Puts down that Herald in the mid lane. Assume gets himself that turret, gets the satchel, but it will still be a turret going down on the other side. 2-for-1 turret trade, but the kill going over. I think that was a shutdown, because Ziggs has got a ton of gold from this early game. The turret's even going to get charged into with the second charge of the Herald. Beyond this, and again, we find ourselves very flip-floppy in the early game. It's gone way all over the place. Some slight leads one way, slight leads the other. It's 1,000 gold lead right now with the Demolish going on bot side. This will be the biggest advantage in the game from either of these teams so far, and it has flipped back and forth already. With the 6 grubs from OMG, so easy for them to take objectives like this, and Harry's been doing, credit to him, a really good job of getting Demolish procs on tower through the plates early into the game. Down to the bot lane as well, to the point where now Xiaoshu on this Camille, who should have been a side laning and team fighting threat, 2,000 gold behind. That is not what you want to see. That's a huge old problem. So alright, they're gonna have to wait for huge combos to come in through the 2-item Ziggs. He's gone for the Horizon Focus instead of the Liandry. Second, it is entirely about that initial burst proc instead of getting increased damage over the time from that Liandry's. And Rare Atom, they need to make sure that burst counts. If that burst does not land on the right targets, onto Tianjin, onto Angel, onto Star, that's going to be a huge, huge problem.
Yeah, it creates a lot of pressure to perform here for Rare Atom. They have to be near perfect in their setups, and Assume can't afford to make a mistake, to be honest with you, as the Rare Atom game plan, it was looking so good earlier, and just feels like it has not come together. Xiaohao has been super, obviously he's got 2 assists, but it's felt very vegan. It just felt like it hasn't made like massive impact in the game like you expect Desire to have.
Yeah, he's been really off the pace. He's gone towards the Merc Treads as well, afraid of some of the CC coming through from the Lilia and the Rakan. I think Merc Treads are kind of overbought on Zyra. I think they're good when you're against the Leona, but I think in a game like this, you definitely can afford to go towards the Merc Treads and the Sork Boots and try and go for the real high damage. But I guess he's so far behind in the game now that he needs to play conservatively. It's harder for him to play on an individual 11. Dragon is going to get absolutely burned down. Can RA find and engage?
They're certainly looking for one, trying to keep Angel out of the fight potentially. This Dragon goes down, and now is the time to turn. Tianjin is going to mark just the Zyra. Big knockup coming through on the side as Vikla with the culling is massive. Tianjin is super low, able to get picked off. Xiaozhu off on the side with Starry right now, who's caught in a cage and is not doing fine. As Rare Atom continues to push forward, you're starting to see the health bars begin to drop because Vikla puts out tons of damage, but OMG are able to escape.
So alright, they win themselves the fight, but they don't get themselves the Dragon. That's obviously going to be helped by the fact, though, in terms of the overall amount of value gained. That Assume is just back to Demolition. One of my favorite games of all time is the Like a Dragon Yakuza series. I'm a big fan of that series, and in one of those games, there is a construction company. It is Majima Construction Company, and I believe they work in Demolition as well. Well, I feel like Assume has gone to that construction community. He's worked his time as a contractor. He's sat here, he's like, okay, fine, I'll just throw out my combat where I can and then get the towers after the play. He's very, very happy with this point here. Tianjin has an awful team fight. For all the gold that this Lilia has in this game, does not get a good ultimate, does not get much damage down, and dies very, very quickly for this point in power, which we said, this is the time to shine when you're on that 1.5 item spike. It opens up an angle towards the other side of an RA. Once again, bring that gold a little closer. Joy flashing out.
Had to immediately get out, and you know what? Xiao Hao must have heard me talking shit because that ultimate was perfect. As he gets all out in here on the side, Zig's ultimate coming down, teleport as well here from the Zeri, but nothing doing on that play.
Are you enjoying the fact that when you're on a co-streamcast, you can be a little bit more fresh and loose with the language? I've had that occasionally. You can drop the F-bombs.
Oh my god, it's so great. It's
very freeing. Listen, you save them for the right moments, but you ain't going to get fined here as I see RA not able to pull off the best Ziggs combo in that last one. Again, it's very, very close. I want this to be a close series. I want these games to be close because I know that both these teams are really frenetic team fighters. Starry going in, might be looking to combo onto Vikla.
Oh, Vikla getting tagged up here. Culling going down. Not enough to finish off a kill, but the rest of RA is there to make sure their mid laner stays alive. Sans flash.
Yeah, so, as Vikla had some good moments, some poor ones too. Moments like that, but somewhere between the sticks of both of them. And this has been the thing for Rare Atom. I've loved how creative their team fighting angles are. I think Vikla and stuff like the Tristana earlier in the year was so good at threading the needle in those team fights, and only the way that a Tristana jumping forwards into the right position can do. Xiaoshu similarly on the Camille and stuff like the Jax too has been really good at doing that. But it is quite hard to pull off that kind of performance against a team like OMG who have leveled up. I thought that OMG were going to be one of the top, one of the worst two teams in the LPL. You know, coming out of group stage, Cube left the roster. They ended up being winless through the group stage, even against some teams which I thought would be, you know, worse than them. I thought that yeah, I thought that Rare Atom would be the team that were worse than them in their group stage. Of course, it's that one of those group stage reunions. But OMG, they brought in Tianjin. They've leveled up as a team. They've gotten past the drama they had as a team with Cube leaving the roster as well, and they have looked a lot better. And credit to them, I thought they were kind of dead and buried. They're currently here fighting for a top 2 spot in Nirvana group, which I thought was beyond them from what they'd showed in summer. But you love to see a team overcome their own flaws and build into something better.
Yeah, certainly achieving Nirvana and on a 5-map win streak right now. That is always nice. They were 5-5 at one point, have now gone to 10-5, looking to extend that to 11-5 in just individual games. And so far so good after that early fight where Rare Atom looked like they had an opportunity to seize control of the game. OMG wrestled it back from them, and they haven't been looking back since. With only 1,000 gold lead, though, they have started up the Baron.
Baron started assuming just within Zig's ult range.
Oh my god!
Use that blast gun. This is going to go down quickly. AP Jungler's kill is very quick. It's going to go.
Yeah, it's getting shredded. Culling coming through. It's a smite steal from Xiao Hao, and the engage is on. Tianjin will pay for his mistakes. Now, Alistar is the look here. Big double knockup off to the side of Starry. He's dumping in damage. Vikla's caught in the back of the pit, and he falls next.
So OMG, they don't win the burger flip. They give it up to Xiao Hao, who gets out alive as well, but it's still going to be a couple of kills going the way of OMG, 2 for 1. This is very much a Rare Atom favored play, and what did we say about both these teams? If they fall behind, things go disastrously for them. They're definitely teams which don't like playing defensively. They want to play on the offense. Plays like this are very, very bold, though. Xiao Hao has vision in the pit from the plants.
They got vision on him too!
And both of them know that, yeah, both teams know that's going to happen. It is a straight 50-50. Tianjin goes down, and, you know, just, look, Tianjin had the gold advantage from the early game. He has not used it well. Xiao Hao has had the more impactful plays around team fights and now around the Baron as well. Yes, Vikla does die after overdiving in a little hard, but now with the Baron buff on, particularly for Xiaoshu, who was behind almost 2,000 gold, he's closing that gap more, and now he is a 2-item Camille. This is a point in power for RA. Now, I don't want to see them throw their lives away over this dragon, though. You have the Baron buff. You could be playing the map, but look, folks, it's the LPL. It's teams in the Nirvana group. It's these two teams. They could look for the map. They look for the team fight.
Well, RA is looking to throw their lives away for this dragon. They are forced away. Sleep only onto 2 members. Not a whole lot going on here. So the dragon has just been started up, down to already to 8,000 HP as the poke coming in for OMG. Take a look at Xiaozhu on the side. He is not in vision right now. So a key opportunity to be able to hop onto somebody. It's going to be on to Tianjin, who's gone golden. The knockup misses on top of it. Harry is low, is about to fall. And again, a dragon secured for the side of OMG. 3 dragons right now. Xiaoju was looking for more. PP got on the knockup, but he went maybe a little too deep. But it's Angel who's starting to speed skate around and do a bunch of damage. It's a quadra kill. It's a certified Zeri moment, baby.
Static shots to the ground. RA plant their feet in the river, but the water's electrified. Dragon, yeah, that's taken by OMG, I guess. And you thought that the fight was going to be lost after that point. Angel comes to the rescue once again. Rare Atom, they flip one too many fights. And with that, in a blink of an eye, 6 Scrubs members alive. That's an inhib down. Will it even be more?
The Angel of Death has connected to the server. RA are watching their turrets fall one by one. The death timers, I think they're a little too long. They will be able to take out the Alistar, and in the blink of an eye, Nymaera, this game is over.
So over the Nexus falls, and OMG, their mid lane superstar in Angel, 3rd All-Pro from Spring, the best player on this roster, even though the team has struggled throughout the course of this year, saves them once again in such an important game. OMG, they find themselves that clutch moment, and can I just say, the Angel of Death connects to the server. What a fucking line. That was great, Yanni. I love that one. Getting ourselves out of that into, hello, us again. That was our first game of that.